guys, so I'm enjoying some PTO out here in West Texas at Guadalupe National Park, Guadalupe Mountains National Park. Anyway, I'm up here, the highest point in Texas, and thought it would be a good place to do a quick video on our PM procedure. Our PM procedure has been revised regularly over the last few years and going back years and years. And this year we decided to take a slightly different tack in our revisions, and instead of expanding the procedure and identifying areas that maybe we were missing, we decided to split the procedure. And so moving forward, the PM is going to be split into two different jobs, and in the fall and winter we will be addressing everything that could fail on an annual basis that could result in you know, a leak or damage, and then in the spring and the summer we're going to address the things that affect the successful implementation of the water management program. So that's kind of our philosophy here, is that we're going to address the things that fail every year at every property, and then in the spring and the summer we're going to address the things that help customers be successful with a job type that, you know, does things like adjust the set points, adjust the water chemistry, clean the probes. We'll replace the feed tubes before the summer as well. But in the fall, and that's where we're at right now, is kind of a scaled down procedure. So what we're going to do is, when we get to the property, we're going to check in with the customer and we're going to ask them if there's any concerns that they have that they need to have addressed while you're performing that PM. Obviously tell them you're there to perform their annual preventative maintenance. Make sure that you record who you talked to and what those concerns were, and make sure you address them while you're there. You know, check it out. If it's something that's beyond your training or your capabilities, ask for help, whether it's an account specialist or a service and repair technician or your operations manager. And at the end, make sure that you remind the customer or bring up with the customer that concern and that you've addressed it, and whether you have the answer or if someone's going to be reaching out with the solution. Then we're going to check out the pool. We don't generally do this in the past, but I'm a big believer in this. I think that if you walk around the swimming pool and inspect it, it's never going to surprise you. So our first physical thing to do at the pool is we're going to go in, we're going to walk around the pool, and we're going to look for any maintenance concerns, any operational concerns. We're going to note the condition of the swimming pool, you know, make sure it's not missing jets, make sure the drain covers are in place. If there's any issues like that, you can submit a diagnostic request. And test the water chemistry. Check to make sure your skimmer baskets are empty. Check to make sure that the water level is up. You know, if we're not addressing those concerns at the beginning of the PM, then we end up having to wait later on to address them. Oh, I got a ladybug climbing on me. There was a scorpion here earlier. So once we've checked out the pool, we've uploaded our water chemistry, now we can go to the controller. And you're going to see the form has changed dramatically. We have a lot more automation in there. We have a lot more what we would call kind of either or programming in there. So, you know, it's not going to ask you the questions about the XPC if it's a WTC, and it's not going to ask you the questions about the WTC if it's an XPC. You know, it's not going to ask you questions about level sensors if you mark that there's no level sensor on site. There's also some automation in there on the shock jugs. So we want to make sure that everybody's got good shock jugs, and you know, you guys don't always carry that many. So you know, it's going to ask how many shock jugs you have, and that's going to actually notify the account specialist if those shock jugs are low. So there's really a lot of cool stuff in this new form. Sean and Neil and them worked really hard on it. We know that whenever we roll out these newer things, there's going to be little hiccups. I've gone through the form about 4 or 5 times. It's running smoothly at this moment, so we expect it to run smoothly in this rollout. But I'm going to encourage all of you to, before you start your workday today, log out. Or actually, today's fine, but tomorrow is when the form's going to go live. So, you know, when you get home tonight or tomorrow morning when you start your day, log out of field service. Log out of field service and log back in. to make sure that it updates well. And if you have any issues, share them in the pending uploads. Now, your team leads and your operations managers are going to go over the actual procedure with you in more detail. I'm hoping that you'll find that it's a much more simplified procedure. We're going to replace the stuff that chemicals touch. We're going to inspect to make sure that tanks are in good condition, that everything's properly labeled, and we're going to make sure that the controller is in good working order. But we're not going to have 1,000 check boxes for you guys to pencil whip. Each box matters. So, if there's no Kynar on site, then you're not going to check the checkbox for inspected PVDF tubing, right? If it's all Kynar, you're not going to check the checkbox for replaced LLDPE tubing. There's no reason to fake any of this stuff. We want to get good, clean data. A lot of it, especially if we're collecting Wi-Fi information and stuff like that for the future of our internet adapter program, it's really important to take the time to get that information. And so I hope you guys enjoy the PM. I hope our goal, and why I thought the perfect place to do this was the top of Texas. We're gonna set the goal to complete I believe right now there's 3,850 PMs in the system that need to be completed. That'll shift a little bit as properties come on and properties leave, but our goal is to complete all 3,850 of those PMs by February 1st. So it's going to be a big push, it's going to be a heavy push, but it's a shorter procedure, it's a clearer procedure, and we know that doing these things is going to set us up to then perform the summer success jobs in the spring and the summer, and not be running around replacing tubing and labels. All right, so that's it for me from Guadalupe Peak in Salt Flats, Texas. It's absolutely beautiful out here. I've got a few more days of vacation before I get home. I'm gonna get the best of both worlds of 3-4 days in the mountains, 3-4 days at the beach, and then I'm gonna be back in Houston ready to help you guys succeed. So we'll talk then. Listen to your ops managers and team leads. They've got the procedure for you. Go through it, ask questions, and if you guys aren't getting the answers to the questions that you have, send them to me, shoot them up in Slack, and we'll get it figured out. All right, thanks.